I now call upon Dr. Dennis Garrity to kindly deliver his special remarks.
Honorable Minister, Sri Jairam Ramesh, Professor Swaminathan, colleagues, I first met Dr. Norman Borlaug in 1971, actually. I was a 19-year-old student at the Punjab Agricultural University. He had come to receive an honorary degree at PAU, which signally inspired me and so many others who were there at the time, witnessing a wheat revolution in the Punjab that had tripled productivity in 5 years. Well, as we close this meeting in his honor, I'd like to make 3 quick points. My first point is to refer to our recommendation on the role of farmers in mitigating climate change and overcoming biodiversity erosion. The recommendations lament that the role of farmers and farming in the mitigation of climate change has not so far been adequately recognized or appreciated. This is a huge understatement. It is probably more accurate to say that the role of farmers and farming communities has been deliberately ignored in this whole area. And this is tragic. It needs to be vigorously overcome. We in the research community have largely been responsible for this malaise, and we must take responsibility to provide the robust evidence necessary to engage tens of millions of farmers in practices that will not only improve and sustain their livelihoods, but will also enable them to engage in the carbon offset markets. It is true, as the communiqué states, that farmers can help build soil carbon banks, and they will if we allow them. At the same time, improve soil fertility through the use of fertilizer trees and other practices. Hence, we ought to launch this universal movement, as was suggested, at the global, national, and local levels, to enable all farmers, particularly those with small holdings, to develop their own water harvesting ponds, cultivate fertilizer trees, and establish family-scale biogas plants. Such a worldwide effort will go a long way to enabling every small farm to communicate its efforts, both in terms of climate change mitigation and creating an ecologically healthy agriculture. This would be a very practical step with tremendous implications for a better future for all of us. My second point is to express strong support for much greater in situ conservation of agrobiodiversity on farms. The in situ conservation of agroforestry species is particularly critical in this respect, since many tree species, if not most, are not conducive to ex situ conservation. I point to the wonderful efforts of FAO in launching the globally important agricultural heritage sites. This is a superb example of how we can advance this agenda of in situ conservation. We and my colleagues at the World Agroforestry Center look forward to working with FAO and others to further enhance global public perception of the invaluable efforts of farmers to develop and sustain complex agroforests as a global treasure in terms of sustainable agricultural systems and a great way to advance in situ tree and herb germplasm conservation. My last point is simply to reinforce the notion that a biodiverse agriculture depends on more active efforts to integrate many kinds of trees into annual cropping systems. There has been enormous but quiet progress in advancing the principles and practices for integrating trees into annual food crop systems in ways that not only intensify the systems, increase their productivity, but also increase income earning potential and adapt them to climate change. This effort has become known as evergreen agriculture, because these systems sustain a green cover on the land all year round. The ramification of evergreen agriculture, I believe, will go a long way to making agriculture an important part of the solution to biodiversity conservation, not, as it is now, too big a part of the problem. Thank you very much.